welcome to the Lowdown Mortgage Podcast, the show where we dive deep into the topics that directly impact the evolving originator. I'm your host, Connor Bartley. Bam! And joining me today is someone who, at 29 years old, adopted the personal motto of delusional confidence, took his production from 12 million to 36 million in a single year, and just launched his own branch in Dallas 2 weeks ago while still running his business back in Lubbock. He is someone who genuinely believes that most of what holds loan officers back is simply not asking for the business. And the numbers he's putting up suggests he figured that out early. Slade Terry, welcome to the Lowdown.
Thanks, Connor. Super excited to be here. So thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I am excited to have you too, man. It's been great getting to know you, and just from afar, kind of seeing the growth that you've done over a short period of time has been really impressive to watch. But before we kind of dive into everything, like, help us get an understanding of where you came from. Like, where'd you get your start in things, and how did you kind of get to where you are today?
Yeah, that is a great question. I feel like I've done a little bit of everything in the banking world. I've, started as a commercial lender at 23, ran a commercial book of business, pivoted to investment banking, ran some really big portfolios there, and then decided, you know what, I miss working with people, helping people directly, impacting their lives. And I thought, mortgage would be the best way to kind of combine all my talents into one and kind of do that. So I jumped into the mortgage world at 26, 27, and now I'm 30. So I've been doing it for a few years now and kind of just growing day by day.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to get this part of your story out because I feel like there might be someone listening that's in a similar situation. But you were at the bank closing somewhere around 70 or 80 units a year, and the bank told you they could not afford to give you an assistant, which, come on, typical bank, right? So what was that season like, and what finally pushed you to say, maybe I should evaluate my circumstances and maybe there's a better option out there for me?
Yeah. So I kind of felt like my business was at a point where I was drowning. I couldn't bring on more production, but there were so many people that it seemed like wanted to work with me. And I was getting further and further behind. And the only thing that I knew, kind of similar to like what you do, you have this community of your podcast of top performers. So I kind of went to the top performer in my market and I was like, Ashley, who now happens to be my boss, but I was like, I got to pick your brain on this. What's going on? How can you do the business that you do? Because that's where I want to be. So, I think just like conversations with a lot of people in the position that I wanted to be in and just these like-minded producers that really have the drive and desire to grow. So I just after a couple of conversations with her and kind of picking her brain, I was like, you know what? Obviously she's doing something right. I want to learn from her. I want to grow. So I think that the best thing for me to do would be to work with her and kind of figure it out from there. So yeah, that's what really made me make the big jump. It was scary. The bank had me on a salary plus commission. I'd never been 100% commission before. And I was like, you know what? I believe in myself. Ashley believed in me. Everyone around me was like, do it. This is your chance. Now or never, essentially. So I made the big jump. And Ashley had just started the branch here. She had left a credit union locally. And we were kind of the first independent mortgage bank in our market. So it was a little bit different for everyone. And it kind of took and grew off. And it's been really cool to watch it grow over the last like 2.5, 3 years.
Yeah. What I love about that story is that you recognize that you weren't getting to where you wanted to go. You found someone that was already where you wanted to be, and you reached out and just had a conversation and were willing to kind of humble yourself and say, I need your help. I would love to know what you're doing. Can you give me some guidance? And for anyone listening, I want to point out that Ashley, and this is Ashley Laycock with Revolution Mortgage in Lubbock, Texas, she did not turn him down, right? Like, she opened arms, said, yeah, let's talk about it. And I find that there's a lot of top performers that are really willing to share because the work is hard and not everybody's going to be willing to do the work. And so to tell someone what you're doing to be that successful, it's really not some big secret. It's just a matter of will or won't they do the hard work. But I don't know if you're a San Antonio Spurs fan, but you adopted this Manu Ginobili like state of mind with delusional confidence. Now, in the Spurs world, they would call it
Mhm.
irrational confidence. And that was your motto for the year when you made this transition. And you're doing 12 million in volume and you jumped to 36 million. Like, what is delusional confidence at work, man? Like, help us understand what that is.
Yeah. So I think it's just being confident in yourself and your abilities. Like, yes, you have to have the skills and know how to structure loans and deals and put them together. But at the end of the day, a lot of originators know that. And there's a lot of smart originators out there. But, at the time of this jump, I think I was in the year of like turning 28 to 29. And I was the youngest loan officer in my market by like quite a big margin. And I just saw all these people that were just sitting back resting. They were like not going out, not going to events, not calling on new business. And I was like, you know what? This is my chance. Like, I can get out there, I can make these calls, I can go meet people. And it was kind of intimidating to call on like bigger realtors, top performing realtors that have been in the game for years and years and years and have these established relationships. So I was like, you know what? If it's not me, it's going to be someone else. So I might as well just uh, put on my big boy pants, for lack of a better term, and make the calls. So that's what I did, and it took me from 12 million to 36, and then the following year, and this was not in a market where other loan officers are growing their production. This was like two of the hardest years from what I hear people say have been the hardest in a long time. But I went from 12 to 36 and then 36 to 50, 50 like point 0.5, so barely over. But um, yeah, I think it was just me developing this mindset of like the business is out there, someone's going to get the business. Might as well be me. So pick up the phone and make the calls because I know that I can structure a deal. I know that I can talk to people. I know that I can educate a borrower, which is probably arguably one of the most important pieces of the puzzle. Anyone can put someone on a loan, but like, do they really understand what they're getting? Do they really understand what the benefit is? How is it setting them up for success in the future? And I think that that's something that a lot of loan officers were just missing out on. So that's kind of
Yeah.
where the delusional confidence came from.
Well, and this has come up before on the show, like quantity time finds quality time. When you're putting in the reps, when you do the work over and over again, you stay consistent, eventually good things will start to happen. You just got to continue being persistent with putting in the reps. And a lot of people struggle with being young in this business. They feel like maybe they don't fit in, that people won't take them seriously. And I mean, you found a quick, easy way to get over that, which is just plow right through it. And, that's a lot of credit to you. But something else that is a pattern that comes up on this podcast that you did is you joined a high producing branch. You found an opportunity where there were people producing at a high level and you plugged into that, and you described kind of joining this branch you're with now as plug and play. There was a system, go run it, right? What was it about that
Yeah.
structure that made such an immediate difference for you, and how did that free you up?
So, one, I really think that it was having a dedicated assistant. I had never had someone that was dedicated to help me on my files before. The bank that I was at previously did everything manually, and it was all done by the loan officer. So I was doing manual disclosures. I was tracking down documents. We didn't even have the capability to e-sign documents. We had to have people come in and wet sign all 150 pages of their initial disclosure before we could do anything. Like, so, that was one thing that was kind of holding me back. So our technology stack has been super, super helpful. Just the capability that we have here at Revolution to do things that I just hadn't had the power to do before. Not only that, but then also at the branch level where I had this, Ashley kind of built out this system for how she does loans, and we kind of copy and pasted it to me, and it's really paid off. And it's basically we have it mapped out from initial contact to when we get a contract, where we have the handoffs for our assistants, our processors. And that's another big thing. Our assistants and processors here at our branch are literally bar none. Like, I'm not kidding you when I say they're the best of the best. They know what they're doing. They all are brilliant and really great with people. So there's no weak link at all. Like, I feel like we have the strongest team in our market 100%. And that just helped us close so many more loans. And, we're having like a record month in March this month. It's kind of crazy just to see how much production our branch is doing. And it's been kind of wild. So, I think something's working.
Yeah, it's March Madness, man. And yeah, but having that back end, that team, like that gives everyone confidence, right? When the loan officer is confident and the people behind them and that the loans are going to get closed and that there's going to be, high level of customer service and everything's going to go well, that just assists you in being more confident and capable in how you sell and getting out into the market and getting in front of more agents and really
Mhm.
and builders and things like that. And one of the lessons that you shared that you've learned is that a lot of people might just be missing out on business because they don't ask for it. And like you apply this not just to business, but to your everyday life. You mentioned you've been backstage at multiple concerts just because you and your friends are like, hey, can we go back there and meet the band? So, like, where did that mindset come from? Has that always been just the Slade Terry delusional confidence way, or did you pick that up somewhere along the way? Someone taught you, and just where did that come from for you?
Yeah, so believe it or not, this is kind of crazy. It all kind of started. I was actually in Dallas for a concert. I was with one of my friends, and we're sitting there waiting to go to the concert. It was general admission kind of situation, so we were already wanting to be there early so we could have good like standing room. We went to this pizza place. The pizza place was packed and so slow. So we're sitting there waiting for our food, and the table beside us, they were leaving. They had two full pizzas on their table. And so I was talking, me and my friend were talking, and we're like, what do you think would happen if we're just like, "Hey, could we have a slice of that? Y'all are leaving." Like, what are they gonna say? The worst thing they could say is no. And then so we kind of kept talking about that and we're like, well, if that was us, even if I was eating and someone beside me turned to me and said, "Hey, Slade, can I have a slice of that pizza?" Or like, "Hey, stranger," I don't think I would say no. Maybe I would, but probably not, just knowing me. So we're just thinking like, how many things do we just miss out on in life, whether it's a slice of pizza, getting backstage at a concert, sitting in VIP, just because you don't ask. And there's going to be times where you get told no, but hey, that's like the worst thing that's going to happen. Like you're probably pretty fine. So we kind of started talking about that and we would just play it into every part of life. So whether we were at dinner or whether we were going to do things. And then that was before I actually got into mortgage. So that was when I was working in investment banking. And then when I got into mortgage, I was it was just something that I always thought of. So I was like, you know what? How much of this business am I going to miss out on just because I don't ask? And I think I did struggle with it at first whenever I was setting these appointments with agents, and I could go have coffee and become friends with anyone pretty quickly, I felt like. And I was like, okay, well, then I would get upset because I'm like, okay, well, now I'm seeing this agent that I had this great lunch with last week posting closing photos with another lender. Why am I missing out? Like, what's happening here? Where's the disconnect? And so I called one of those agents and they're like, well, like you didn't tell me you needed the business. Like they just had this perception of me mainly through honestly social media where they're like, it looks like you're killing it, you're doing all this business, and in their heads they're thinking, oh well, Slay doesn't need my business, like he has so much business. And I think that was another thing that helped my production level up. And so I always try to incorporate that now anytime I talk to an agent, like, hey, I would love to help you. Do you have any buyers that have been told no by another lender, or that have been told no by another lender, or that I could just take a second look at something for them? Because I would love to do that. I would love to earn your business. I would love to grow this relationship further. And that's been something that's really helped my production.
Yeah. Well, what you explained there is something that I kind of call the curse of success on social media, where you're showing and promoting that you're being successful, but sometimes the signal that's being received by the agents that you would like to work with is, he's probably too busy for my loan. Yeah, I don't know if I should send that over to him. Maybe. And they need to know. I mean, to your point, like they need to know that you are open for business and that you would love to work that loan. And, what I've seen some originators do is, set big goals and be very vocal about those goals and say, hey, we're trying to fund, we're trying to help 20 people into families this month. I'd love your help. Send it my way, those types of things. And so I think that's a really good call out that you just had right there. But, you have I mean, you seem like a really easy person to get along with. And so much so that like your referral agents are not really business contacts anymore. Like you guys are friends, you do business together and do life together. And I don't know if that's something like because of where you live and the market you're in, or if it's just kind of just the way it's been designed. But like, how do you think about that line? Like, and does going that deep with your referral partners, does that make your business stronger?
Honestly, I think so. Like I was talking to someone about this the other day, just talking about like Agents, there are those agents that, they are business only, but if that opportunity is there to grow the connection deeper, like, of course, I'm gonna do that. I wanna do that. I love to make friends. I love to have new friends, and I don't think it's, like, coming across as like disingenuous. Like it's something that I think these people are my friends, and I think that they would call me a friend as well. And I think it helps strengthen both of our businesses, like mine and the agent, because they know that they can really trust me. They really know me personally. So yes, they can vouch to me for their clients, and then vice versa. Same thing. Like if I on a call with a borrower and they may be saying XYZ, I can help testify to that agent's character, who they are as a person. And, that doesn't happen often, but I think it's something that's super, super valuable. And I was telling someone this the other day. I was like, honestly, like I have probably like 10, 15 agents that I work with that I would consider like pretty close friends. And those people, I know that I will have their business pretty much as long as I want it, because we just have that bond. There are people that are never going to have their people shop me. I'm not going to have them. They won't recommend like four lenders and say, hey, call this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, and compare these rates and quotes. We just have this trust that's built, and I think a lot of it's just through friendship. And honestly, it's not something that was like designed that way. It wasn't like I'm going to set out to be these people's friends. It just happens whenever you do life together. And maybe it is part of just the market we're in, but this industry is kind of, cutthroat a lot of times. It's really high pace, really like high intensity. And I think when you find those people that you can trust and work with, it's kind of like you're trauma bonded in a way. It's like we're going through all these like difficult transactions together, that you just become like dependent on one another to get to the finish line on certain things. And so I think that's something that's super special. Like I don't take any of that for granted. I love everyone that I get to work with. And I'm super thankful that a lot of them are actually friends too.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome, man. And yeah, I think your intention matters. People can kind of read what you're really in it for. And if it's just for the transaction, they feel that. But when
Mhm.
you take an interest, they understand, oh, well, this guy is really like cares about me and my family. I mean, to your point, you guys are in this together, right? Everyone's kind of relying on the other person to do their job well so that everybody gets paid at the end of the
Mhm.
day, too, right? So when we're all kind of taking care of one another, people feel that. Now, just kind of to fast forward to kind of catch up to the present, what you're up to now, you guys, you're opening this branch in Dallas. And something you shared with me I thought was really interesting. You've used ChatGPT to draft 20 agents that you had worked with once. You told them you were entering the market in Dallas, which is kind of new, right? You're opening up a satellite branch. You're going to be in the DFW area. And then the referrals just started rolling in. And that might frustrate some people to hear that. It sounds really easy, but walk me through what that looked like and why do you think it worked?
Yeah, so I think part of it is it worked because one, we had a successful transaction before. It's someone that knew who I was, knew what I'm about, knew that I can close a loan. So there was already this trust that was built. But yeah, I used ChatGPT to draft the text message to these agents to let them know, one, that I was coming to the market, opening up a new branch there, but also to ask for their business again, remind them what I do, who I am, and then the other big part was trying to recruit loan officers and asking these agents, if you're not working with me, who is someone else that you really like, know, and trust that would be a good fit, that you think that I would get along with or would get along with me. And then asking these agents to make introductions for me. So it was kind of a twofold thing. I was getting introductions to other loan officers, and I've had quite a few interviews based off of that, and reaching out to people, starting those conversations. But then also, yeah, it's kind of opened the floodgates for the referrals. So I think it's all been pretty quick. We launched this branch 2 weeks ago. I have my first closing out of that branch on the first. Uh, and I think we have like three or four more coming up in April. I just had a contract come in for that branch while we're on this call. It's
That's
ramped up pretty
phenomenal.
quick. And honestly, it's like, I'm not there physically, but it's just this relationship that I've been able to build. One, just through the process that me and my team have with marketing ourselves to, both sides of the transaction, knowing that these agents know we can do a good job, we can close loans, and that's what we're here to do. So it's been
Yeah.
really cool.
Well, and I think what you did from a recruiting standpoint is really smart. You're leveraging your relationship. And, every agent may have a different preference. They may say, I love working with you, Slade, but I know you're not going to be like local all the time. I need somebody in market. Here's someone I would recommend. And so I think just having those introductions, those warm introductions through the agent is really going to serve you well on the recruiting side. And you're also showing these new loan officers, hey, I got relationships already. I'll plug you right into these suckers. Like,
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's a great value
Exactly.
prop. You even have like a builder that found you through social media. And if you guys aren't following Slade, you should. He's got a great social media brand. They've sent you like, 13 leads and so much that you can't even talk to all of them. Like, what does a loan officer have to build to reach the point where capacity isn't a constraint?
And that is a good question, one that I'm kind of working through right now actively. But yeah, this is kind of crazy to get to the point where you have a lead problem, and it's like I have so many things coming in. Right now, to me, it's just I have to work more and work longer hours, which is fine. I don't mind doing that at this current stage of life and what I'm kind of building and growing. The hope is to bring on someone in that market that I can say, hey, here's a solid loan officer. They know what they're doing. Now let's hand this relationship over to them and let them kind of run with it. So yeah, it's been super cool. I think some of my top actually like referral partners in that Dallas market have honestly come through social media, and it's been people I've never met, which is really kind of crazy and cool to say. Like, but it's you meet there, then you transition to the DMs to the phone call. It's kind of like dating in a way. It's like what's happening here, but yeah, then getting on a call with people and just pitching them your value, how you can close deals, what you can offer that's better than other people. And a lot of people think that that is concessions, giving money, whatever it is. And transparently, I don't really offer that to builders and to these referral partners. My big value proposition is I'm dang good at my job. I have the best team. If you have a pre-approval letter from me, it's good as gold. We're going to get the deal closed. We do a lot of vetting up front, and we can move quickly. So I think people appreciate that. And I'm super transparent through the process to like my relationships. I keep them informed, I keep them updated. I send like recap emails of like, hey, here are all the leads I talked to, here's who I followed up with, all the notes about the calls. So I think that they really appreciate that too, because I'm essentially like an extension of their brand at that point. Like, hey, we know that if we get a lead, we can hand it over not only to our sales team, but to Slade. And Slade's going to keep following up with them and making sure that no one falls through the cracks. Because that's my actual number one pet peeve, to get a referral and watch it fall through the cracks and see someone else close it. I'm like, no, if
Uh,
it comes in the door, we're going to hold on to that thing.
yeah. Well, I love this evolution that you're going through. It's clear that it's been expedited by being with the right people and on the right team, and you were smart about just sort of sourcing that out and finding those people in your market, and you didn't, you weren't shy about it. My friend Amir Syed would say being shy is expensive. It's one of my favorite sayings of his, but and you seem to really embody that. But it's like we've talked about a lot, and I want to give you an opportunity to kind of speak your mind. I don't know if I've asked you the question you wanted me to ask you today, or if you've had an opportunity to kind of say something that you think would be really valuable to this audience. But I want to open the floor up to you and just let you say whatever's on your mind.
Yeah. I think this career is something that's been like a huge blessing for me. It's something that wasn't really expected. It's not like the dream job when you graduate college and you have this finance degree. It's not like I'm gonna go be a mortgage lender. That's what I'm gonna do. But honestly, it's been like the biggest blessing. I love the people that I get to work with. I love the borrowers that I get to serve. I love seeing the impact that I can make directly on families' lives, setting them up for this generational wealth, essentially, like helping them build wealth for themselves and their families, and really setting themselves up for success in the future. So yeah, I'm just super thankful for it. I think that it's not a career for everyone, but I'm super thankful that I was able to get into it, get plugged in, and man, really just kind of surround myself with like the best of the best.
Yeah. Well, I love what you're doing and your attitude towards it, and it'll be fun to see you grow in Dallas and just what happens next for you with the branch there and business in my neck of the woods. But wish you nothing but the best, man. It's been awesome to see what you've accomplished in a short period of time, and the sky's the limit.
Well, thanks, Connor. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
You bet. Thanks for being on the lowdown, Slade.